Hey everyone, George from Elite Motorcars. Thought I would start today's video a little bit different. We are starting with the test drive. And if you're looking over the hood, if you know the 1980s cars, especially the luxury coupes back then, you'll definitely know what this one is, especially by that beautiful hood ornament. This one is something I have not offered in a long time. Haven't had one of these in forever. I have one in my personal collection, but that one's unavailable. So I'm excited to offer this one. It's not perfect, as I'll show you as we do a walk around on this beautiful car, but it's a pretty rare automobile, and it's just in time for spring as well. It's a 1983 Buick Riviera, as they call it, a factory ASC convertible. Pretty cool car. This is what I would call a drivable restoration. Runs and drives good. Got a couple little rattles there. Hear a little bit of wind noise there because it's one of those New England days, but this is a pretty cool car. It's got the radio there, it's got the convertible top switch, it's got the climate control, and it really doesn't have a ton of miles on it. It's got 103,793 for miles, and the Riviera is a pretty cool car. This is actually what got GM back into the convertible game, was the Riviera. In 1982, General Motors, Buick made a deal with ASC, which was known as American Sunroof Corporation as well, to partnership with them to build a Buick Riviera convertible. So 1982 was the first year of the Riviera convertible, and it ran to 1985. Now the 1980, hold on a second, take this turn here. Industrial park area. In 1982, they made 1,200 Riviera convertibles. In 1983, I think they made around 1,200 as well. 1984 and 1985 were the rarer of the years, and they made, in 1984, they made 500. 1985, they made 400. So I'm going to grab a parking spot over here and let you guys see this beautiful automobile. Here she is, the beautiful 1983 Buick Riviera convertible. It's an absolutely beautiful automobile. Yes, it needs restoration, but it's still a beautiful automobile. Love the lines on these cars. This was probably the most unique, unique one out of the, I think it's called the E line or E and K body style line. I always mix those up. Between the Eldorado, the Toronado, and the Riviera. Sometimes a lot of people say the Riviera's body lines were the most unique and the prettiest. I love my Eldorados, but I also love Rivieras. This is a really cool car. This is what I would call, as I think I started in the video earlier, this is a drivable restoration. This is a car you can put the roof down, enjoy it for the summer, tinker with it, and just have fun with it. It's a sound car, it's all there. It's just a cool automobile. It really is. It's got the factory chrome wheels. These were offered as factory. They are missing the center caps, but they are actually in pretty decent condition. They could use probably a good amount of cleaning. I cleaned them up a little bit, but best thing to do is take them off and really clean them up well, spend some time on them, get some beautiful center caps. I'm not a big fan of the black wall tires, and normally I would change those, but this is a drivable restoration, so I'm going to leave that to somebody else. But the tires are actually really nice in this car. Those I think are fairly new. I don't know how to read the date codes. I have a friend of mine that's always trying to teach me, but these look like fairly new Coopers, and they're really nice looking tires on this car. This alloy wheel, chrome wheel, is in great condition as well. It does have some rust and corrosion there, but all in all, they're in pretty good condition. The tires are all matching Coopers all around. No, they're actually not all matching Coopers. These are Goodyears. I just noticed that. These are Goodyears. These don't look old as either. These look pretty new as well. As you can see, the convertible top has a few minor marks, and I'm being very sarcastic when I say that. But one thing I was talking about, the body lines on these cars. Look at the lines in this quarter, how it comes up. The Eldorado, the quarter was very straight, as was the Toronado. So these are very unique, especially when they made them into a convertible. Very, very unique car. And it's got the taillights. I love the taillights on these cars as well. The bumper does have some corrosion, as you can see at the top. But the nice thing is a lot of these Riviera bumpers rotted out. Now the Eldorado bumpers very rarely rotted out, but a lot of the Riviera bumpers rotted out. This one, yes, it has some corrosion at the top right there and some of the chrome peeling. But in general, this is a solid, good bumper. You can definitely get this I almost said repainted, re-chromed. And yes, it does need bumper fillers, as every 80s car needs these days. So it does look like it has good years in the back here as well. Chrome wheels in good condition. Just they need some time spent on them. And you'd have to locate some center caps. Beautiful lines on the car. Despite all this car's faults, this car is gorgeous. Love these cars. And as you can see, that wheel's in pretty decent condition. And it's got Coopers, and so it's got Coopers in the front, Goodyears in the back. Coopers look like they're fairly new. The backs, I would say, are about 75%. It does not have the original antenna here. This one seems to pull up a little bit more right there, push down. So that's up to somebody if they want to replace it with the original type that's power, if they just want to leave it as it is. The front fillers look like they were replaced at one time. They're decent. Chrome is decent in the front. It does have some fading, as you can see. It's definitely got some marks. I'm going to go over everything in detail. Just giving you guys a quick walk around here as we get into it a little more. Show you guys the trunk here. And yes, you can see my jumper box. I actually left the headlights on in the car last night in the garage. So I wanted to make sure the battery is up. So I brought my jumper box with me just in case. There's the sun visor there. That one you'll notice on the driver's side is missing. It is there, it just needs to be fixed. It does have the original floor mat. And it does have a cover for the dash, the top of the dash. I'm not a big fan of them. I took them off, even though the dash pad has some cracks. You may like that, so that does go with the car as well. The original jack there and the original spare as well. Trunk stays up. It's got fairly new pistons. Trunk jams are all nice. Now it's kind of weird that these are gone and these are fairly new fillers in the middle right there. So that's a little odd. Don't know why. Don't know if somebody's replaced them or what happened there. And if you haven't noticed, the car's definitely been repainted. We're going to talk about that a little more in a minute here. Let me show you guys underneath the hood. And this is what a lot of people like about these cars over the Cadillacs. I mean, you've heard me ramble on at how much I love the 4100, and I do. Yes, they have no power and they're slow, but I like them. But a lot of people like the powertrain in these and the Toronado as well, because these cars came, I think, in 1981, 1982. They all came through with the 307 at that point. I know some of them had a 350 when they first came out, but this one runs good. It's not perfect by any means. The engine compartment's in pretty good condition. All the plastic wheel wells look pretty good. There's a little dent right there, as you can see. There's no real structural damage. It just looks like this radius support's got a little bit of a dent right there, and right there as well. Level rides there. I'm not sure if that's working. Looks like it did have an aftermarket alarm at one time. Best part, the hood stays up. It's got brand new pistons. And this is how I bought it. The car actually runs good. It does have the AC compressor belt off it. The AC compressor seems to cycle, so I think the compressor's probably good, but that little smog pump down there is frozen, and I did not put that cap on the radiator. It's probably a radiator that was universal, and they probably could have what do you call it, capped it with something a little simpler, but that's what somebody did to it. That's how it's going to you guys. So as I said, this is a drivable restoration. And it really does work pretty good. It really does. Look at that hood on it. Is that not beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. Look at the grill. Now, one thing that I want to mention, and then actually we're going to do a little plug for my channel before we get into that, because I'm going to keep rambling on here. As always, guys, please take a second to like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Also, check me out on Facebook and Instagram, Elite Motorcars, Peabody, Massachusetts. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this car is a 1983 Buick Riviera. This header panel right here is from a 1984. Do I like the header panel on a 1984, 1985 better? Yes. Did I change it? No. This is how I bought the car. If you want to be accurate, you would have to put a 1983. I think 1979 to 1983, the header was the same. I may be wrong. If I am, mention it in the comments. I'd appreciate it. So in 1983, there was more of like a straight edge right there. And on 1984, 1985, they rounded the header a lot more. I really like it. Believe it or not, the bezels are unique because for 1984, 1985, they're different than the 1983 and below. So if you look at them on eBay or something, you might be, oh, they're the same. They are not. The grill, I love the grill. I think the grill's absolutely beautiful on this one. The interior there. Well, guys, we're going to spin this around and get it a little shade so we can check out the interior a bit more. Found a bit of shade over here. It's one of these New England windy days. It's been a windy week in general. As you guys can see, the dash pad, or the dash itself, has a bunch of cracks right there. The dash is actually pretty decent. It's got some marks right there as well. Convertible top works. I'm going to show you that. The heater works. The radio, I'm not certain the radio works. And the other thing I noticed, I think the gas gauge actually works. The speedometer is not working. This car does have the sports steering wheel, but somebody took off all the stuff there. It's all right here. It all goes with the car. This all goes with the car to fix it. So I'm going to leave that for somebody else to fix. And it's got a little rust right there. This is the sports steering wheel. It does have some fade into it, as you can see, but it's not terrible. Door panel is actually not half bad on this car. Carpet's a little loose, got a couple of screws in it. Screw mark there, I'm missing the clips right there. Tear right there, clips missing there. Now, one thing I would tell you guys is this window does work, but the switch is bad right there. So that will need to be replaced for the window to work correctly. That's basically a regular GM 4 window switch there. Any GM of the 80s will be the same. It's just the bezel that's unique. So that's something easily obtained. I am leaving that to the next owner. Now, if you guys haven't noticed, these are actually 1982 to 1984 torn out of front seats. Somebody put these in the car. Not really certain why, because they're really not in very good condition. This one works a little bit, but not really, so it's going to need some work on it. It does have some tears and cracks and marks and wear and tear and everything else. The back seat has its fair amount of wear and tear, as you can see. Lower cushion has some tears. Got a tear back there, tear right there. So it definitely has its wear and tear to it. I do have, this car actually came with a rear seat from an 83 Riviera red leather. It's a little brighter red than this one. It will go with the car if you want it. I will try to include some pictures of that seat in this video or at the end of this video. Carpets are actually in pretty good condition. The rear piece is decent back there. A couple marks right there. This one needs to be screwed back. Somebody cut the seat belt here. Don't ask me why. And no idea that they cut the seat belt there. Doors look like they're pretty decent. And they're actually not bad. They get some surface rust at the bottom there, but they're not bad. Doors actually shut pretty decently. It does have the wear and tear right there, as you can see. There's a bit windy here. This door, for some reason, this little handle sticks right there every once in a while. Probably needs a little WD-40. This door panel is actually in pretty good condition. It does have a little bit of separating right there. Actually, the bottom of this door is actually pretty good. Got a little bit of surface rust. This car's a pretty solid whole car. It really is. This seat's not that great as well. This is a power seat. Somebody put a power seat in the car, but this was a manual seat originally on this side. So that's up to you. I do have some manual tracks if you want to switch it back. I can supply those to you. There we go, that rear seat again. As you can definitely see, it definitely has its wear and tear. And as you can see, there is no headliner. And the reason being is that 1982, 1983 Rivieras did not have the headliners. 84, 85 did have a headliner. Still pretty cool to see all the roof bars. And as you can see, there's a piece right there to attach that visor that's in the trunk right there. The other visor's in good condition. Let's take a look underneath the car there. Hop underneath it. That door shuts good, even though somebody slammed it. Actually, the undercarriage is clean on this stupid car. I really didn't expect it to be so clean. Looks like it's got fairly new shocks, or somewhat new. Gas tank looks great. All the supports look great. Climb underneath the midsection over there. Take a look there for you as well, guys. Car's actually a lot cleaner underneath than I actually expected, to be quite honest. It's pretty clean. Leaks a little oil right there, but that's expected in an old car. But all in all, she's actually a clean old car. Everything looks pretty good. Let's take a look back here a little more. It's actually pretty decent. That's got a little bit of rot in that rear floor pan on this side right here. So it does have a little bit of rot right there. Kind of shocked, but probably water getting in there over the years. The exhaust actually looks fairly new as well. Jump over the other side, take a look at that rear floorboard as well. And from doing these cars so many years, I kind of know where to look on these things. So this rear floor actually looks great on this side. So I would just do a little patch on the other side right there. The rest of the undercarriage of this car is beautiful. This is actually a very solid, straight car. Very solid car. This is really a nice, solid, straight, original car. Now, one thing I noticed about it, guys, is that this car, as I was looking at it more and more, as I was cleaning it, detailing it, it kept this, for some reason I kept seeing chips right there. I saw the chips with the white. I'm like, that's odd. And then I noticed inside this door, I think down here someplace I could see a little bit of white. I'm like, why am I seeing white? And I kept looking. And finally, I opened the trunk on this car and I pulled up the carpet in the trunk and it's white. So this car actually started life as a... So I will be probably asked about 3 or 4 times if the convertible top works on this car. It actually does work. Let me show you guys. I'm not going to put it all the way down because, as you guys can see in the pictures or video earlier, that the top is not very good condition. So I'm going to show you guys just the basics of the top moving. The top right there it goes. The switch is actually, somebody put the switch in backwards, so you got to push it up. So there it is. And there it is back up right there. So that is it right there. And we're going to pull it back down. Move this out of here. Go bit of a push right there, give it a pull right there, lock it in. A little bit of a challenge on this one because that top's so old and worn out. Before I hop back out to finish up this video, this beautiful automobile, neither rear window is working at the moment. I have not taken with them. I am leaving them to the next owner of the car, so that's up to the next person to figure out what's going on with them. They might need motors, they might need switches, they might just need a little WD-40. I just pushed the buttons here and I got nothing, so I'm almost thinking this switch right here is junk. Let's give it a little try right here. I think this one's hooked up. Yeah, it's not doing anything, so I got a feeling the switch is probably the issue. It still has that cool Buick sticker right there. Car actually runs really good. Got a little bit of a rumble to it at idle, but idle's pretty good. It shifts well, goes down the road the way it's supposed to be. And yes, I know this video is long. Front end's got just a little bit of play. The brake pedal is great in the car. My 2 cents, give it a good tune-up, change all the fluids. The one other thing I noticed is you got to pump it a lot to start it up. I think they said sometimes with the, not an expert on carburetors, that sometimes that's the accelerator pump. Don't hold me to that, but I'm just telling you, sometimes you got to pump it more than 3 or 4 times to start it up when it's cold, and it likes to stall out a few times until it warms up. So let's hop out, check her up, and wrap up this video of this beautiful, unique car. One other thing I wanted to mention is that this is basically a car that you can just basically have fun with over the summer or spring, actually. And summer's not even here, spring's not even here yet. As you can see, those trees are dead. So it's coming. It's a cold one out there in New England, but it's coming. This is a car you can have fun with. This is a car, I mean, if you want to use it for summer, put the roof down, leave it down because the roof's junk. Enjoy the car, have fun with it, and start doing some restoration work next winter. So let's hop out, do one last walk around with this beautiful automobile. I'm over here wondering if and when I will have another Buick Riviera convertible to offer. Probably won't have another one in this price range ever, because this one's really affordable. Despite all its flaws, you guys may think I'm crazy, this car's just beautiful. It's a beautiful automobile despite all its little issues. As you guys can see, the top's junk. There's no way around it, the top is junk. That's why I didn't put it all the way down. It's just junk. Somebody did a really nice tape job here. They even matched the color well. It does have some haze up there as well. But it's a beautiful automobile. Beautiful Buick Riviera convertible. Well, this beautiful Buick Riviera convertible that I think is absolutely beautiful. I love it. It's an awesome car. Somebody's gonna get a really, really fun summer cruiser. This is a car, just put the roof down, do a little mechanical stuff that I mentioned, but just go through the car. But it's a nice whole car. I will be asking $39.95 for this one. I probably talked way too much in this video, but you can see how I am about these cars. I love these cars. My first one that I still have in my garage that I haven't touched forever is a 1985 Buick Riviera convertible, white car, burgundy leather, loaded up car with a digital dash and everything. I actually chased the gentleman who owned one of the local newspapers back around 1994, 1995. I was driving a burgundy 84 Eldorado convertible. I followed him through my town. I was following him. He finally pulled over. He goes, "Kid, what do you want?" I go, "I want your car," because my car's not for sale. And the car was dirty at the time. I said, "Well, at least let me clean the car." And he's like, he let me clean it. I detailed it up. I loved that car. I fell in love with that car. And years later, back in 2000, his son called me. He goes, "My father's sick. It's time to let the car go. He wants you to have the car." I went down, we struck up a deal, and I've owned it ever since. But please don't ask me about that car because it is not for sale. This is the car for sale. but I wanted to tell that story before I ended this video. My name is George. My direct line is 978-590-0014. Thank you so much for watching my video, and have a great rest of your day.